start.
Very good evening, sir. My name is G. Bharatwaj, belonging to group number 2. And first of all, I would like to introduce to you my teammates, Vignesh Ramaswamy, Pritesh Parthiban, Vibhishan, Saundarya, Dinesh, Krishna, Abhijit Suresh, Deepak Shivakumar, Sabaresh, and myself, G. Bharatwaj. And our presentation is all about the open elective courses, and we have split it into 5 different modules. Introduction first of all, and screening and classification data. Some questions like which department do they belong to, such kind of questions are there, and screening and classification, personal questions. And the core data is all about the open elective sections, and the departments as first mention, other mention, and aided mentions. And there comes the conclusion and whatever the inference that we have made so far in the presentation. And now, to start off with, the purpose of this survey is to gauge the current feelings of the students towards open electives. And this is not only restricted to people taking open electives alone, but also a few people who was not eligible. And we have taken 200 responses from covering different departments and all years of study. And we have also included first year people, very few responses though, even though they are not eligible for open electives, but just to assess their awareness of open electives in the college and their suggestions, if any, to improve in the system. And the screening and classification data will be handled by Sabaresh.
When it comes to the area of screening and classification, based on the gender category, we have classified the respondents by male and female, and it is found that males are obviously having higher majority. They are 75% and the rest of them are female. And based on the year of study, I found that out of 200 respondents, first years consisting of 4 students, and the sophomore year, this is second years, they are 36 in number, and third year they are 84 in number, and in fourth year it's 76. Based on the distribution of departments and the number of respondents, computing departments come first with maximum number of respondents, which is 60, as you can see, and mechanical engineering department comes second with 48, and electrical engineering department comes third with 39, and rest of the data can be inferred from the slide, and the rest of the survey, inferences in the survey will be given by Vignesh.
Now coming to number of students who have opted out of OE even after having met the eligibility criteria. As we can see that 82% of the students they prefer to take an OE if they are if they have the eligibility criteria. But that 14% of the students, they have, even after having the eligibility criteria, they have quit the OE once. It's still it can be there can be a reason that they are not comfortable with the allotment process. That can be one of the reasons. Now coming to various reasons for choosing an OE, as we can infer from the full data that 39% of the people they feel that for choosing an OE, it will be easy for them to do a semester abroad program during their last semester. And also, we can see that 36% of the students, they feel that they will get a free final semester, so that they can focus more on their projects. Now coming to the overall experience, we had asked the whole respondents regarding how they feel about the OE experience as such. And as you can see from the graph that from second year, third year, and fourth year, almost everyone has liked the overall OE experience. But still, the number of people who have actually disliked the overall OA experience is also equal, which says that many people are not comfortable with the OA experience. This can be due to various reasons, like as I mentioned earlier, allotment process. This can be one of the main reasons. And now coming to the year gender satisfaction, again from the whole data we can see that the male respondents, they are actually satisfied with the overall OA experience. But coming to the female respondents, it's been like fluctuating. But again, one more inference which we can make from this data is that the third years, the number of students who are satisfied with the OE is actually less. It can be due to the reason that they want to focus more on higher education coaching like GRE or GMAT. So they want to focus more towards that. So that reduction is due to that. Now coming for we had asked the question to all the respondents should any more courses be added other than the courses which are available to them. and we got this response that let it be any department, let the respondent be from any department. They want more courses to be available so that they can they have a wider choice from which they can choose from. Yeah. Now regarding the core data, it will be handled by Krishna. Yeah.
Good evening. This slide focuses on the people, whether they want to do the OE or not. As expected, an overwhelming number of people said that they do want to complete their OEs before the 8th semester. Next, coming to the fairness of the eligibility criterion. Most of the people that we asked say that the eligibility criterion that are currently available are fair. They say that the 7.5 GPA criterion is fair enough in choosing students for OE. But some students say that it's not fair in the sense that the research work or project work that they do, they say that that should also be taken into account when choosing for these OE classes. They're saying that instead of these OE classes, the credits that these OE classes give, that these credits can be attributed to the project or research work that they do as well. And some students, they're saying flat right that these eligibility criteria are not fair because there are many people who might want to do an OE and who might be practically eligible but might not satisfy the required GPA criterion alone. Yeah, are these courses useful overall? Most of the people, they seem to feel that, at least the majority of people, they seem to feel that these courses are okay. These give a valuable add-on to whatever courses that we do practically in our departments. Course preferences by department. We've classified the course preferences by first mention, other mention and aided mention. First mention is obviously if when asked the question, the students come up with the name of the department themselves. So in that category, we can see that most people want to do a course in computing. This could be because a general opinion is that the courses in computing are relatively easier. It could also be because the world today is turning tech savvy. So most people know that they cannot survive in the real world unless they have an adequate knowledge of computers. So this slide, this is probably an indicator of that. And coming next by other mention are MBA and Oriental Studies. Students feel that Oriental Studies give a refreshing change from the standard run-of-the-mill courses that are offered in the departments. And MBA, as the trend is these days, most people prefer to do a BTech and then go forward with an MBA. So they feel that these MBA courses will be a valuable add-on to them. And we can say that the aided mention is highest with the law department. This could be because the students feel that other courses might be a valuable add-on to engineering, but law is completely alienated from them. So it actually does not have much to do with engineering in and of itself. So this could be a reason why law courses are not preferred as OEs. Influencing factors. Most people say that at the 61, out of the total number of responses, 61 people say that they choose OEs purely based on interest and not because of anything else. But there are also others who feel that I took this OE just because of the faculty handles it, and there are still others who say that I took this OE because my roommates took it. So there is actually not a very clear-cut division between the people who take it because of the peer pressure or because of the faculty. But we can safely say that most people take the OE courses because of their interest. The number of students preferring an OE of their home course, of the home department. Yeah, like I said before, computing seems to lead the way here as well, because many people from computing say that they would prefer an OE course from their department itself. This comes by first mention, the top is computing, and aided mention, other mention. Overall, if you see the graph is highest for computing, and next comes mechanical. Since majority of people that we took the survey for were guys, so a possible inference is that most of the guys are inclined towards mechanical engineering, even if they are not in the department itself. Next courses, the following slides will be handled by Pritish.
Okay, good evening. What we did was try and find a correlation between people who had answered the following questions. See, depending on their responses for whether they need a larger pool of OEs, whether they wish to finish early irrespective of their GPA, and whether they feel that the OEs are useful for today's world. We find that a large number of people would prefer to finish early and need a larger pool of OEs to choose from. So what we found out was there were a few people who had not picked OEs even though they were eligible. So they belonged to the category where they felt the OEs weren't useful. So a possible reason is they didn't take the OEs simply because they didn't like it. So if we increase a larger pool, of OEs to choose from, we probably have more people taking these OEs. Okay, we had asked them the average time they feel one should spend for studying each OE. And this is the responses we got. Most people feel we should study somewhere between 0 to 5 hours. We actually had a lot of ambiguous responses from this. As you can see, we have only 53 responses which we could categorize. Some people said they don't need to study for an OE. Some people just mentioned the hours. So we weren't sure whether we should take it per week or whether they mention it per semester. So yeah, we asked them a lot of course suggestions. We had a lot of interesting answers, but these are some of the general suggestions that they've given. Physical activities, arts and crafts, and history and lifestyle related courses. So the department analysis, we had asked in the questionnaire as to whether the person is interested in the department. So we calculated the raw score by assigning values for highly interested as +2 and interested as +1, and if they are not interested it's -1, and if they are completely not interested it's -2. So on the basis of that we calculated these scores, and MBA has the highest score, followed by mechanical, and biotech and computing follow close by. So it's obvious that everyone seems to be interested in MBA. A good reason probably being they would like to do so, continue doing an MBA in the future. So, okay, we had also asked everyone if they felt a particular course was interesting, and we got a lot of responses from each person who had chosen each of these departments. Obviously the highest is logistics and supply chain management from mechanical, closely followed by research and development in microprocessor and controllers. Okay, so the rest of it will be handled by Vibhishan.
Good evening. At one point I think there might have been a little conflict where we saw in the previous slide that computer science department was very much preferred over other department electives, and in this slide where we saw that MBA came out as a top, as a leading department in terms of interest. So to clarify, this question was basically to gauge the kind of interest that people showed in various departments when it came to open electives from the department. We saw that MBA turns out that people are very much interested in OE courses related to MBA, but overall, when you consider all factors relating to choosing an OE, the trend is biased largely towards computer science. So what we will be presenting now is a department-wise split up where we try to analyze the kind of responses that we get for each questions, because we put up specific questions for under each department depending on the kind of fields they are in the department, the kind of thrust area that we think the department encompasses. So from those questions, from the responses that we got for those questions, we will now present a department-wise split-up analysis of what factors we think are most important. So for civil engineering, we had asked about environmental issues, and it turned out that large portion of the respondents have very strong opinions when it comes to matters of green technology or environmental science, and they believe in the potential of green energy in the future. Basically, in the potential of green energy in future, but the problem was that people thought that civil engineering as a branch did not have a very big role to play in the field of green energy and environmental science. So what we think could be done is that we need more awareness about the role civil engineering plays, the unique role civil engineering plays in green technology and other such areas. And a large number of the respondents also seem to think that civil engineering has been missing out on some key issues. So that is another thing that they can probably pay some more attention to. Mechanical engineering, we found that in general the amount of interest in mechanical engineering was very high. So in courses like there's a lot of awareness in areas like logistics and supply chain management, as we saw before. But other areas like material management and product design are not as popular as those two. But the opinion is still very strong that all these areas together have a very big impact, have a very great impact on industrial performance in this field. So, but not many people don't think that this department is particularly missing out on anything. So, as far as introducing new courses goes, I don't think the department has much to work on. If at all they have something to do, they could probably increase awareness on these courses, these areas like materials management and integrated product design, which are still yet to catch up with the others in terms of popularity. Electrical engineering, we asked them about interest again. We asked them about interest in particular in embedded systems, and which is not particularly high. And we also talked about the potential of fields like medical electronics, medical electronics, biomedical instrumentation, all such allied fields. The support was not as strong as we had expected because we thought those might be thrust areas. But there was overwhelming support for robotics-based courses, robotic-based electives in future. And since not many people seem to think it is particularly difficult, electives from this department are not particularly difficult. We could say that a department elective, an open elective based on robotics, introducing students to robotics without too much technicality will find very good reception. Although they could try to increase the range in terms of interdisciplinary applications, because they seem to think that courses from this department are not very much applicable to other areas. Computer science, as we saw, was voted very strongly in favor of in terms of the popularity of the course and in terms of the people who want to do computer science courses. So, but one of the more moderately strong opinions is that current knowledge of processes and controllers being important in research and development work in this field. But as I said, people seem to agree almost unanimously that computer knowledge is very important and crosses into other fields and plays a vital role in research and development in other areas. So that is a very important thing, that is a very important difference that we get, in which, so we could say that electives from computer science department could focus on interdisciplinary applications of computers, could focus on the role computers play in other departments, like say bioinformatics, for example. So that is one influence that came out very clearly for this particular department. There is not too much interest in areas like programming, web design, and animation, and so these seem to be very niche areas, and not everyone will be interested in areas like this. So popularity or reception for courses based on such niche areas are not expected to be very great. Biotechnology, a very strong opinion seems to be that space biology, there is currently a course called space biology from the biotechnology department, but the opinion strongly goes that it's not the field as such, or the space biology as such has very limited scope or potential in general. But forensic science has witnessed a lot of interest. People seem to be very biased towards forensic science. When you say biotechnology, the first thing they think of seems to be forensic science and other such areas. So most important areas will be how we have to create awareness about how biological areas can also be important to other fields. Like progress in biological research can also mean a lot of potential for other fields like electrical and computer science engineering. So that is one area, and as I said, it requires inputs from other departments. So that, if could be highlighted upon, that will give more output from biotechnology electives. Oriental studies, I think it's very clear that the popularity of electives like laws of cricket and other electives from Oriental studies is quite high. And people tend to choose Oriental Studies electives because they found that a very relaxing change. So that seems to be recognized. So we could say that Oriental Studies, as of now, they don't have too much to concentrate upon, yet, except that they have to find more acceptance for the kind of workshop they have. MBA, as we saw before, has large number of takers. People are serious about doing an MBA in the future. They follow finance and everything. So we could try bringing more serious courses, and because people are not doing this just because they are relaxing. Law, things like moot court sessions and other things, people find it too serious. The response has been that even though there seems to be a passing interest in law, theoretical study of law is not very popular. Even though, and general notions on justice and criminality and things like that are not very strong. So, but people do agree that a basic knowledge of legal provisions of our country is very important. So I think that could be focused upon, in which we try to cater to the kind of interest, because law, they don't have a very fundamental interest, it's just a passing interest, it's not very deep. So that could be focused upon. So coming to the things that we would like to do if given a chance to do the survey again, what we could do is take professors' opinions about OEs from teaching faculty. We could come up with a variety of new. What we could have done is we could have given a set of new OEs and we could have asked people to rank accordingly. And with that, we could have seen what kind of OEs people would like to be introduced. What also we could do is, when we talk about factors which influence OE, we could also have talked about factors which influence a person not picking an OE. So for factors which contribute negatively to choosing an OE could be dealt with. And to conclude, I will say that the presentation that we have given, based on the survey which I feel could have included these things also, was a general interpretation of what we thought the influences meant from what results we got. So that we have tried to give a fairly comprehensive picture of what the general trend seems to be when it comes to open electives and their selection. Thank you.